हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू जियोलॉजी कॉन्सेप्ट्स। मैं वजीद कुमार सिंह और आप देख रहे हैं हमारा वीकली करंट अफेयर सीरीज, जिसके अंदर मैंने इस वीक के यानी अगस्त के फर्स्ट वीक के करंट अफेयर्स को कवर किया है। और ये हमारे इस सीरीज़ का सेकंड एपिसोड है, जिसके अंदर कुछ 7 टॉपिक्स इस तरीके से हैं, जैसे फंगस फॉर द पायरीन रिमेडिएशन, ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है एनवायरनमेंट के अंदर। एनडीसी अगेन क्लाइमेट के अंदर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, मतलब नेशनली डिटरमिन्ड कंट्रीब्यूशन विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। कालाजार एक बीमारी है जो कि इंडिया के 4 स्टेट्स लाइक बिहार, यूपी, झारखंड एंड वेस्ट बंगाल के अंदर काफ़ी पाया जाता है। ये रामसर साइट्स अगेन, फिर लास्ट टाइम मैंने जो वीडियो कवर किया था करंट अफेयर्स, उसके अंदर 54 थे हमारे पास, पर 10 और मिल के ये 64 हो गए हैं जो करंट है। ईडी काफ़ी न्यूज़ में है क्योंकि बहुत सारे रेड्स मार रही है ईडी वेस्ट बंगाल के अंदर। आप देख सकते हैं न्यूज़ में, आपने देखा होगा जैसे बॉक्स भर के पैसे निकल रहे थे, तो ईडी इसलिए काफ़ी न्यूज़ में हो जाता है। उसके बाद चैंडलर वॉबल है, क्योंकि ये इसलिए क्योंकि इंडिया की ग्लोब की जो अर्थ की है, जो रोटेटिंग स्पीड है वो बढ़ गई है और इसने 24 घंटे पूरे करने में इस बार कम समय लिया है, तो इसलिए ये न्यूज़ में है। एंड प्रेसिडेंट्स कलर्स अवार्ड जो कि तमिलनाडु को दिया गया है। तो ये सारी क्वाइट ब्रीफ थी, अभी हम इसको डिटेल में देखते हैं एक एक करके। सो द फर्स्ट टॉपिक इज़ फंगस। ये फंगस काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि ये जो है पायरीन को कंज्यूम कर लेता है। पायरीन क्या है? एक टॉक्सिन है जो कि कुछ इस तरीके से दिखता है ऐसा। ये मल्टी साइक्लिक टॉक्सिन है, एक केमिकल है जो कि जिसके अंदर बेंजीन के 4 रिंग्स होती हैं और इसको पायरीन कहते हैं। इसका केमिकल फार्मूला है 616 एंड H10, इसका केमिकल फार्मूला है। और ये इसके सोर्सेस हैं, ये फैक्ट्रीज से, कार से और इस तरीके से, या अगर ये कोल फायर, इन सब चीज़ों से ये निकलता है। यहाँ से निकल के ये सॉइल में आ सकता है, वाटर में जा सकता है, एयर में जा सकता है, ठीक है। और इस तरीके से ये चीज़ों को कंटामिनेट करता है। लाइक इसको एटमॉस्फेरिक मैट्रिसेस कहते हैं। हम इसको देखेंगे अभी इस एपिसोड के अंदर, देखते हैं इसको हम डिटेल में। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, दिस हैज़ बीन फाउंड बाय CSIR, मींस काउंसिल ऑफ साइंटिफिक एंड इंडस्ट्रियल रिसर्च, has identified a fungus capable of removing toxic, recalcitrant and carcinogenic pyrene. Carcinogenic means it can cause cancer. That's why it is called pyrene. Pyrene is also called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Polycyclic because it has 4 cycles, means 4 benzene cycles, and aromatic because it has some aroma, and hydrocarbons because it has carbon and hydrogen. That's why it is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. So fine. Now this, what is pyrene and how it has come to our atmosphere? Pyrene possessing 4 benzene rings. So I have just covered this, and it is a toxic chemical, and it comes to it is also carcinogenic and mutagenic. What is carcinogenic? Because it causes cancer, and mutagenic because it can harm your DNA too. That's why it is called mutagenic. So if you consider all these things, so it becomes very clear that this chemical is very, very harmful for us. It gets lodged into environmental matrices like soil, water and atmosphere. So इनको एक साथ ऐसे matrices कहते हैं। अगर इसको और explain किया जाए तो जैसे blood को भी एक matrix कहते हैं, right? बोन जो हमारी हड्डी है वो भी एक मैट्रिक्स है, जिसके अंदर फॉस्फोरस, मैग्नीशियम और ये सारी केमिकल्स उसके अंदर एम्बेडेड होती हैं। ब्लड भी एक मैट्रिक्स है, उसको एक प्लाज्मा भी कहते हैं, बट ब्लड इज आल्सो ए मैट्रिक्स, राइट? सो इस तरीके से सॉइल, वाटर एंड एटमॉस्फेयर, दीज आर कॉल्ड एनवायरमेंटल मैट्रिसेस, और उसके अंदर ये पायरीन एब्जॉर्ब हो जाता है। फिर वो हमारे ह्यूमन साइकिल में आ जाएगा, हमारे फूड साइकिल में आएगा, दैट विल हार्म अस वेरी इन अ बिग वे. So that's why it is very important for us to understand this and get rid of this chemical which is very toxic. So PAHs are class of chemical that occur naturally in coal, crude oil and gasoline. ये naturally इसमें होते हैं, coal, crude oil and gasoline. But the thing is, when you burn coal and you use crude oil to run your business, your automobiles, it is actually integrated in your economy. If you use them, that means they will come to your environment, that will get submerged, that will get absorbed in your soil and in your atmosphere, in your water, and this way it becomes very harmful for us. So this is how this pyrene is. So what is so how actually this fungus is dealing with this chemical? Actually, what does this fungus actually, this grows on dead plants. This fungus causes pyrene degradation using special enzymes. This fungus has a special enzyme and it causes degradation. That's why it is very useful for us. I have just explained how this pyrene gets into this our atmosphere, and this is how it is. Then what is bioremediation? Bioremediation is actually branch of biotechnology that employs and uses living organisms like fungus or any bacteria or anything else like microbes and bacteria to decontaminate affected areas. Like sometimes if you have oil spillage in your in sea or oceans, that time we also use bacteria to consume that oil so that the sea surface gets rid of that oil spillage. So that's why bioremediation works, right? So for this thing, for this pyrene, this fungus can be used in situ and ex situ. So in situ is like at the site where contamination is, and ex situ away from the site means we can take the pollution from there and we can treat that pollution. So this is how pyrene works. This is very important for your examination because pyrene, this fungus, is very important. So the important topic in this episode is that important thing in this topic is that this has been developed by CSIR, and it is a polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon which has 4 benzene cycles. That is very important. It is carcinogenic and it is mutagenic, means it causes cancer and it also affects your DNA. So these are important things. And then okay, fine, and it can be used in situ and ex situ. So these things are very important. तो जैसे इस टॉपिक को, अगर इस टॉपिक के अंदर ये सारी चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट थी जिसको आपको दिमाग में रखना है. So the next important thing is NDC. NDC is nationally determined contribution, and this is very important. I'm telling you, in the climate section, climate and climate change section, if you have one topic to cover for this week, this should be the one. Actually, India declared its first NDC, means nationally determined contribution, in 2015, means the year when Paris Agreement came into force. Like, so the Paris Agreement is under UNFCCC, which is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So this is how it is. So India in 2015 declared its NDC goals, which contained 8 goals, and out of those 8 goals, 3 were quantitative goals, which can be explained here. So I have mentioned those 3 goals. India also decided to achieve those goals by 2030. So this is the last date, the deadline. So these goals are like, the first goal is to 40% of electricity consumption production will be from non-fossil fuels. India decided to achieve this goal by 2030. Then the second goal is 33 to 35% of the emission intensity. India will cut this much emission intensity of the GDP. So it is of the 2005 level. And the third goal is 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon sink India will create. So it's like increasing forest reserve and having artificial carbon sink, then having you can have water bodies or wetlands. Wetlands are a good carbon sink. That's why Ramsar sites are very important. You see, I will just cover this 10 more Ramsar sites, and that's why these Ramsar sites become very important, because wetlands are very important as a carbon sink. So that's why this is important. The cabinet has updated the NDC. Now what happens is that the India has achieved most of its goals by last year, 2021, and India has decided to update its goals so that it can achieve more. So this is a very good thing that India is not lagging behind. India is achieving its goal before time. So that's why it has changed. It has raised the bar, the target, which is like 45% reduction in emission intensity, which was earlier how much? 30% only. Sorry, 40% of electricity from non-fossil fuels. And this time it has raised to 45% reduction in emission. Sorry, I'm really sorry. India has raised this goal by to 45%, which was earlier 33 to 35% only. So this has increased by 10% almost. Then 50% electricity production will be from non-fossil fuels, which was earlier 40% only. And then again, Modi ji, our Prime Minister, has given one more slogan, one word movement. He calls it one word movement in the last COP26, which was held in Glasgow, UK, which is in UK. So lifestyle for environment. Life stands for lifestyle for environment, and that's why this term is very important for examination, because in any examination, life can be, it can be asked that life stands for which, lifestyle for environment is the answer. So what does it means, what does it mean is that to live a lifestyle that is in tune with our planet and does not harm it, means sustainable lifestyle, right? This is how it is, so that you do not harm the planet, you do not harm the environment, live a life like that. So this is how it is. So something about COP26, it was held in Glasgow, UK 2022, and highlights are like our government gave, like Modi ji went there and he gave like Panchamrit for India's climate action and net zero by 2070. So net zero means the carbon that we emit, we will set up something that will consume that much carbon dioxide. So the net emission will be zero. So this will achieve this. India has decided to achieve this by 2070. India has also told the developed nations that we will not, you will not force us and we will not get bugged by you people that we will have to achieve this goal by 2050 or earlier. We will achieve this later because you people, I mean the developed countries, developed economies have used or polluted all the environment, and they have the responsibility to bear more burden, not the developing countries. So developing countries started later, so they need to have more time to achieve such goals. So India has decided to achieve this goal by 2070, means net zero emission. By that time India has decided to reduce its emissions, which is also seen in this new NDC goals, in which India has decided to increase its emission cuts. So this is, it's visible here, quite here. So this is how it is. This is a table, you can have a screenshot of this, and this is very important. Emission intensity reduction, earlier it was 33 to 35%, now it is 45%, and 24% has already been achieved in 2016 itself. That's why India has decided to raise its bar. Then share of non-fossil fuels, it was 40% earlier, now it is 50%, and 41.5% has already been achieved June this year, means 2022. And carbon sink, there is no data over here, but India has decided to create 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon sink, and there is no change in this goal, but yes, India will achieve this. I would like to mention one more thing is here is that when, suppose if you are writing this question, or there is a question in your mains examination on this topic, you can also add multiple angles to it. Like when you have to create more carbon sink, you need to preserve your, either you can increase your forest reserve. To reach that goal, either you can increase your forest reserve, or you can preserve whatever forest reserve you already have. So to increase the forest reserve is not that easy, but to preserve that forest reserve or the green vegetation that you have in your country is very important. So we can preserve that forest reserve. So how can that be done? So we can, for this thing, our tiger population is very important, because India has 70% of global tiger population, and this is very significant because this 70% population will keep a check on the population of all those animals who eat grasses, because those animals, if their population increases, that will have a huge impact on the green vegetation. So to preserve the green vegetation, you need to have a good population ratio of non-vegetarian animals like tigers and lions and all. So that's why if you have that tigers or other animals in good population, you will have a it will be very easy for us as a country, as a nation, to preserve our forest reserve. So this topic is. Then the next topic is Kalazar, which is not that big. It's a very small topic. So we'll consider that India has decided to eliminate Kalazar by next year, which is that 2023, right? By 2023 India will eliminate Kalazar. Out of 633 districts, 625 blocks have already achieved and eliminated this Kalazar. In 4 states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, this Kalazar is quite prevalent, and India will achieve this by next year. So the next thing is about something about Kalazar. It is a neglected tropical disease caused by a protozoa, and which is spread by sandfly bites. So it is a female sandfly which bites and it causes kala-jar. So it is the second deadliest parasitic disease in the world after malaria. So this is something about kala-jar, and it is important because by next year India has decided to become free of kala-jar, and we think that we hopefully will achieve this thing. Okay, the next is Ramsar sites. Very frequently Ramsar sites are getting added to the list. So the important thing is that we have now 64 wetlands in our list. So the next is ED, which is very important because in the West Bengal we have seen that Partha Chatterjee in his residence in ED has found lot of cash. I mean boxes, trunks filled of cash. So this is something very important. That's why I have covered this. So ED is a enforcement agency, investigating agency, and it covers mainly money laundering under PMLA Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act FEMA, and Fugitive Economic Offenders Act FOEA. So these laws under which the ED works, and something about more. We have some more. We have a list of more investigating agencies, and we'll see all of them. So the first is Enforcement Director. Obviously we are talking about this only. So ED is works under Department of Ministry of Finance. See, once these topics are in the news, you can obviously guess one or two questions in your examination. That's why I have covered this. So Department of Revenue, it works under Department of Revenue, which is in Ministry of Finance. It's a premier financial investigation agency which works under Government of India, which is quite obvious. It is a statutory. First of all, it is a statutory body, right? And okay, so ED is a statutory body which works under these many acts. So the first is three I have already mentioned. The fourth one is COFEPOSA, which is Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activities, Act 1974. So these acts are there under which the ED works. Next is NIA. NIA is Central Counterterrorism Law Enforcement Agency. So it is mainly against the national security, which is, if counterterrorism. So this is how it works, and it is also a statutory agency under NIA Act 2008, right? So this is how it is. Next is CBI. CBI is the Premier Investigating Police Agency. This is a police agency, and if there is a international collaboration of police forces around the world, CBI is the agency that will take part, not any police agency. It is the CBI that will take part there. Also, CVC is an investigation agency, and Lokpal is also there, but they do not have a man force. So what happens is that in case CVC needs any man force or any assistance, it will go to CBI. Lokpal in the same case, Lokpal also, if needs any assistance, any man force, any work power, it will go to CBI only. So Lokpal also and CVC also, it will go to CBI. So it is also nodal police agency, which is Interpol. I have just mentioned that CBI is a member of Interpol, and the conviction rate of CBI is 65 to 70%. That's why it is seen with very high. It has a very high esteem. But in recent times, our judiciary has also mentioned CBI as a caged parrot. So that's why you see the irony that CBI has 65 to 70% of conviction rate, but judiciary terms it as a caged parrot. So the next topic is Narcotics Control Bureau, which is NCB. Narcotics means this will deal with drugs. This deals with drugs. It's a nodal agency on the matter of drugs law enforcement in India. So the apex coordinating agency, if there is anything related to drugs, NCB will take care of it. It works under Ministry of Home Affairs. So the next is Serious Fraud Investigation. Serious Fraud Investigation Office, which takes care of the white collar crimes. White collar crimes means if any company or any CEO of any company, if he indulges in any kind of financial fraud or financial if he does any financial crime, so that time SFIO will come under action. So this is how it is. SFIO will take care of those cases. Next topic is Chandler Wobble. So this is important because in our Earth this year took 1.59 milliseconds less than the 24 hours to rotate on its axis on June 29th. So this is important. Why? Because the axis is changing. Wobble, the Chandler Wobble is actually the shifting of exact position of Earth's north and south pole. The change in axis is causing this decrease in time, but scientists do not know the exact reason. They are yet to conclude the reasons behind the downtrend of Earth's rotational speed, but it is being said that it is the Chandler Wobble, which means the change in the position of north pole and south pole of the Earth, which is causing this time change. So this is important because the Chandler Wobble, the term is important. If there is a question in your examination, you should be able to identify what this Chandler Wobble is all about. So the next topic is President's Color Awards. I think this is the last topic of this episode. So the President's Color Award, which is also known as AKA Rashtrapati Ka Nishan, which has been given to Tamil Nadu police, and in the last 25 years, this is given for the last 25 years exceptional service to any military or police establishment for its service. It's wonderful service. It's bravery, courage, and commitment, professionalism. Everything is being counted there, and it is also known as Rashtrapati Ka Nishan, which is given to the Tamil Nadu police, which is important. If there is any question, you should be able to answer such questions. So this is where our Vice President Venkaiah Naidu ji is conferring this award to the CM of Tamil Nadu, which is Mr. Stalin. So this is it episode. We'll see you in the next episode. Tab tak ke liye, thank you for watching. Thanks a lot.